the boys around here don't listen to the Beatles run. Old Bo Cephas threw a jukebox needle at the honky-tonk where they boot stomp all night. What? Yeah, and what they call work a digging in the dirt. Gotta get it in the ground before the rain come down to get paid to get the girl in your four-wheel drive. Yeah, the boys round here drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot a back, a shoot a back, a shoot a back, a spit. Oh, heck. Well, the boys around here, they're keeping it country. Ain't a damn one know how to do the Dougie. No, I'm not in Kentucky, but these girls around here, yep, they still love me. Yeah, the girls around here, they all deserve a whistle. Shaking that sugar sweet as Dixie Crystal. They like that y'all and southern drawl and just can't help it 'cause they just keep falling for the boys around here. Drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys around here sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back, a spit.
Let's ride through the countryside. Let's ride down to the riverside.
Hey now, girl, hop inside. It's me and you gonna take a little ride to the river. Let's ride. That's right. Lay a blanket on the ground. Kissing in the crickets is the only sound. We out of town. Have you ever got down with a do you wanna get down with a girl, you gotta get down with the boys round here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back. I'm one of them boys round here, drinking that ice-cold beer, talking about girls, talking about trucks, running them red dirt roads out, kicking up dust. The boys round here, sending up a prayer to the man upstairs. Backwoods legit, don't take no lip. Shoot her back, a shoot her back, a shoot her back, a spit.
Welcome to the WINGIT call, August 12th, 2016. Who'd have thought we'd be here? Will the pastor take it away?
You ready? Can you hear me good?
I can hear you good. 5 by 5.
All righty. Father, we thank you for your blessing on today's call, on Jerry and on everybody else who speaks. I thank you for blessing the listeners. Let their hearts retain what you want them to have. I thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Hallelujah. All righty. So if I see you got it there, and of course we're not attorneys. We're not a practice attorneys, pretend attorneys. We're not a CPA, financial accountants. This is not to be taken as any legal advice. For legal advice, seek a professional. This is our opinion, and for the rest of the disclaimer, please go to the wingitcall.com. There's a disclaimer tab. Click on the disclaimer tab, and you shall have the rest of the disclaimer. Art, are you ready?
I'm here. Are you there?
I'm there.
Okay. I tell you what, welcome, or good afternoon to everybody in Currency Land. Beautiful day here in Clarksville, Tennessee. A little humid, has been all along, but a little cloudy too. We get some thunder showers every day, keeps the temperature down. I was talking to one of my guys up in New Hampshire, he said it was almost 100 degrees up there and very humid today. I said, well, you got it warmer than we do down south. I said, so keep that heat up north up there, if you will. He just laughed, of course. With that being said, not a lot of intel out there. Of course, every night we think we're getting numbers. We're told every night we're getting numbers. We were told last night we would get numbers, and here we said once again. I did get a call saying that one of our people talked to someone who talked to Fifth Third Bank. Now, we haven't heard much about them at all, but they sent a memo to all their employees that they're going to do currency exchanges starting anytime from today through Tuesday. So that was interesting. I know they sold currency. My son bought some 6 years ago from them, but we hadn't heard much about them, so I guess they're still in play, and if they're going to start exchanging currency, maybe they know something we all don't know. Other than that, I haven't heard a lot out there, just waiting on whatever's holding it up. Whoever holds it up, we're not sure exactly what that is. We hear all kind of rumors, and we don't want to get into rumors that are unfounded or probably not true anyway. We're getting tired of putting stuff out and then it don't become true every day, so I'm not putting much out of anything unless I know it's pretty much true. We've done too much of that in the past, so we're just kind of sitting here in limbo waiting as usual, and that's about all I can contribute. And I just thought the Fifth Third thing sounded kind of interesting, though, since we hadn't heard about that. So anyway, I'll turn it back to you, Jerry.
Thank you, Art. Appreciate it. Well. As you can tell, there is just not a whole lot of anything out there. It's all been said. It's just being regurgitated, repackaged, and retold. I've heard it all today. Ooh. Hey, Wingman, what's going on?
Hold on, I'm still setting up. 3 seconds.
Okay. You'll have to listen to me for a minute. I've heard it all the last 2 days from, it's going to be 2019. The public's never going to see it, to hold on. Within the next 30 minutes, you should be getting notification. I've heard it all. And I said, okay, we've been down this road before. So, let's see here. Where am I at? I do have. Go ahead.
The only thing I like about all this is that the rumors are rampant, and they seem to be coming from a variety of different places. So, people are hearing things. They're putting it through their own filters. Maybe they're repeating it second or third hand, but the market indicators are certainly there. The harder assets that we have intel from are reporting in. So I will go out on a limb and say that we're very, very close. If indeed it may have actually started way in the back room, way in the back room, like down in the basement by the furnace. But it's we're getting there. I guess that's what I want to say. We're getting there. It's real. It's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, all of the quote-unquote gurus, intel providers, however you want to, nobody knows the date or the rate, no matter how many blessed contacts that are so high up that, nosebleeds don't even reach their level. What they've been told, until you get the notification and you're walking out of the bank with beer and pizza money, it ain't done. It ain't happened. Contrary, plant both your feet in the sand, grab a Blue Moon, a Corona, or I'd like to say the best beer in the world. I'm going to tell you what the best beer in the world is. And I don't care who you are, you're going to understand. When I give you the name of this beer, you're going to understand it's the best in the world. Here goes. Free. That's right. Free beer is the best in the world. Now, if you pull yourselves up off there from rolling on the floor laughing, because you know I'm right. Free beer. Nobody knows. You can, once you run it through a filter, like Ico says, does it pass the stink test? That's the thing. Sometimes it's packaged to where, well, you know, it does sound reasonable. And if I sound a little jaded today, it's because I'm up to my neck with the BS, and I'm like, please, show me something tangible. You know, who you getting it from? Do you want to share? No, we can't share. But some of the people that I talk to, I understand they can't share, and there's good reason. Of course, some out there are in fear for their life because they might talk too much, but what the hey? All bears have trouble. What the heck? Oh, did I poke the bear? I'm so sorry. Let me see here. We've got a few questions. If you want to ask a question, star 2 to raise your hand. It's not going to be a real long call today because literally there is nothing really new or tangible to talk about. They'll have to wait. That's somebody calling me, and I'm sure you can hear it beeping. Question 1. I plan on giving my siblings some money. I was wondering the best way to give it to them without them paying taxes. Get a trust and endow the money from one irrevocable trust to another. Number 2. With negative yields happening in the market, yet all markets showing green, if the PTBs can still manipulate the system, could this not continue forever? When will the good guys win? Thank you. Wingman, what do you think about that?
Well, it's like, so the short answer is no, it can't win forever. You know, you can only pump so much hot air into a tire before it explodes. And that's really what's going on. Unfortunately, for other folks out there, this is just, it's prolonging the inevitable. But when it does blow up, it's going to blow up even harder, and it's going to affect more people, and ruin a lot of lives. And there's no reason for it other than the sheer absolute greed and downright evil intention of people controlling the market. It's just, it really is criminal. It really is. And, you know, maybe post-RV, we can all make sure that we lobby the right people to get a bunch of laws changed and get a bunch of regulations changed so things like this simply can't happen. But rest assured, it's, you know, it. Remember, here's the order of events. The bond market falls apart, the banks fall apart, and then immediately the stock market falls apart. That's the progression. And quite frankly, it's only going to take one major bank in Europe to go under, and they're all going to fold, like you know, like
House of Cards.
House of Cards are just going to fold. Also, the fact that you know, used as an example, if it's Deutsche Bank, Citibank is tied in with Deutsche Bank. You know, they're joined at the hip. There's all this cross-collateralization that has gone down. There's all sorts of, you know, sharing derivative debt behind the scenes. I mean, it's just a mess. It's just a mess. And I heard there are over 90 banks in northeastern United States that are cross-collateralized under Citibank, and they're going to go down. You know, it's just now. I don't know what going down actually means. There are safety nets in place, but it's just going to create such a poop storm. And unfortunately, people who don't know anything are going to panic, and they're going to try to pull money out of their 401ks when that's not the time to pull it out. They got to ride it until the asset-backed system is in place. It's criminal. It's criminal. And yet, will people go to jail? Probably not. So that's my say on that one.
Well, I don't know. That wasn't really a mouthful, and you still had 3 minutes left on my timer. What's up with that?
Sorry.
Because literally, folks, there is nothing out there to say because it's all been said. I know that you listen to me and you want to hear the truth. Well, I'm being bluntly honest today. Does there have to be an announcement by the U.S. government that the gold-backed USN is active before the Internet group exchanges? Well, yes and no. We've heard that they are active way behind the scenes that you and I will never see and are not privileged to know about. We've heard they're active there. Now, we know this kind of takes away from one of the questions I was going to answer, but I'll say this. Remember, we've talked about October 1st, where China will become a member or will be another reserve currency with the IMF. And at that point, they're going to be asset-backed. We have heard that they're doing the last little bit of audit before October 1st so that they can tell the world or show the IMF that, yes, we have plenty of gold to do what we want to do, and we're all going to be shocked by how much they've been sandbagging what they truly have. So the answer is yes and no. We won't know till it actually gets here.
And
question 4.
Jerry, on that note, something that gives me a little comfort when I think about it is a lot of these concerns that we have, for example, when the audit's going to get done, when the contracts are going to get signed, when the U.S. government is going to make an official announcement, all these things, I have a suspicion that they're all going to be put into place in roughly the same moment when the RV comes down. When we're in the bank, that means the RV is like, it's done, it's over, it's official. There's nothing behind the scenes at that point. The GCR is underway. And all these individual things that we've heard have to get done before we go to the bank, I think that they're all going to get done at the same time, or they're all going to be checked off the list at the same time. And quite possibly they are already in place, but not officially functioning. Just like, use an example, Iraq, we're fairly confident that there's, that a great many people in Iraq have their cards loaded with the proper amounts now. But the CBI still shows the dinar at 1188 or some ridiculous number like that. It takes time for all this stuff to actually be put into place in the public record, I guess is my point. And it goes back to, it's a facetious thing to say, but we're going to know everything after we get out of the bank. That's just part of the reality of what we've all got to deal with here. So it's my piece on that.
I'd have to concur that what we know before we walk in the bank, if it was a 100% variable, that we're only going to know 10 to 15% before we walk in the bank. Now, after we walk out, I think we're going to know a whole lot more. They want it that way. And we're not going to know anything before that. The rules of the game, the engagement rules are you don't know what's in front of you in the war zone until you actually get there. And I know it's a bad analogy, but it's the only one I can come up with right now because we're in combat. We're trying to find out, we're trying to get intel, and the enemy's not giving any up. Darn it. So let's see. Question 4. Is the Master's Trust legal in Canada? Yes. Are we able to purchase those trust instruments and apply them for our legal use here? I don't know if you can get them while you're in Canada, but I do know here in the U.S., and I'm probably pretty sure that if Richard is listening, he can text me and answer that question. But that's a good question. I know that if you have them here, that you can use them worldwide. They're recognized worldwide. So, but I don't know if you can purchase them as a Canadian. I've heard yes, but don't hold my feet to the fire on that. I'm not sure. I'll try to get you an answer. Question 5. I have read the amnesty law was not passed months ago, and this is one of the holdups of the release. It was supposedly passed this week and in the Gazette Wednesday. What else has Iraq not completed that will hold up this blessing? I'm tired of all the smoke and mirrors. Would like some straight answers for a change. Well, sit down because you're going to get them. Some people think that it's all about Iraq. No matter what they do, they control everything. They do not. I'm going to go back, I think last call or the call before that, this one. Iraq isn't going to come out until everybody else does. They can't come out first because when they do, they're going to be an asset-backed currency. And I've said that once that happens, everybody will flock to that currency because nobody else wants the rest of it. We've heard that a lot of, and you'll have to help me out on this, Wingman, that over in the Middle East, the yuan is now being used for payment over the petrodollar right now in the Middle East through goods and services and through the price of oil, I believe. Again, don't hold my feet to the fire on that. But Iraq is not going to come. Okay. Iraq is still the theatrical play to keep us focused on that while they do other things. No matter what you see, yes, it's here, no, it's not. We're walking out, we're not coming back. I would say over a year ago, everything was signed and done, and they're just, that needed to be done, and they're just working on cleanup laws that really have nothing to do with us. So what you're talking about, the amnesty law, they're keeping all that hidden, even for the people digging that live there, have contacts in the law library. There's two two gazettes that people read. One's the Law Gazette, and the other one's the Media Gazette. You know, and their media over there is controlled more than what our media is controlled here, and that's a lot. Because you can look at the international news from over there, reading about over here, sometimes 180 off. It's amazing. So I hate to be so blunt. You wanted a straight answer? Well, there you go. Stop looking at Iraq. They're part of it, but this is a worldly thing. And I'm sorry, Ray, it's not all about Iraq. I have an almost. Uh-oh. Is that you, Wingman?
That was me. Keep going. It's okay. Just somebody texting.
Okay, I didn't know if you want to add to it or not.
Well, yeah, going back to what I just explained. Iraq's going to happen when we happen. Not we're going to happen when Iraq happens. It's simultaneous now. I think that's the distinction we all need to understand. Iraq never was the lead. We were simply manipulated into believing Iraq was the lead in this, but it's not. It's a worldwide event. It's 208 different national entities and territories. It's a world struggle. It's not just Iraq getting its act together.
Okay, and I got ahead of myself, but this is a good point or a good time to read this. Contrary to belief, I don't always wing it off the cuff. I actually took the time to sit down and pencil this out, so it's my personal position to take regarding the fact that there is no intel out there, because we are at such a delicate point in this process that being our notifications, don't jump ship and go nuts. Just remain quiet. Don't lose your faith. Don't let doubt creep in there. This is coming. Take a break. Walk away from computers. Go have some wife time. Go have a lot of wife time. Go visit your friends. Go have a blue moon. Go to a movie. Go have some BBQ. And the only place that you can get real BBQ is here in Texas. I don't care what they say about Kansas City. Do something fun. Older people, we like, especially in Texas, it's hot. Go somewhere where it's got a little AC. Don't allow anyone to whisper the negative thoughts into your brain. The single purpose of a naysayer is to bring negativity to you. Don't let them do that. And due to some serious issues, technical issues with the forum, people have been, even myself, it's my room. I've been banned and booted out twice, 2-3 times, so we're working on getting these issues resolved. It's going to be down Saturday and Sunday, but it'll be back up Monday. We're working with Active Board on some issues there. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And as I've always said, relax, be patient. I know the bills are mounting. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm just a little calmer about it. But I'd like to run around with my hair on fire. But that's not going to do any good, really, to be honest with you. So, except make me grow new hair. Wingman. Oh, wait. Let's take a caller. I don't even know. Oh, Cleburne. Come on down, Cleburne.
Yes,
Cleburne.
good afternoon. Good afternoon.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you, sir?
Good. What can I do for you today?
Well, I appreciate all the information that you and ICO and Wingmen bring to us. It's always a positive moment whenever I get a hold of it. The question I have, sir. Yes, sir.
I have to say, not your area code, but the first 3 numbers of your telephone number makes me a little nervous, and I'm sure you get that all the time.
Yes, sir. That 666 always is a bad thing to look at, but that's what I've got. I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm
okay.
really a
Go
redneck.
ahead.
I'm really a redneck medic as such, so I can associate with you a lot, sir. Right now I'm kind of off break, waiting for the next call. But the reason I'm calling, I'm having trouble getting into your forum, sir. I've tried about four different ways of getting in there, 4 different emails, and I'm still having problems getting in. And I sure would appreciate if I could get into your forum so I can be a little bit more of an active role for y'all.
Here's what I want you to do.
Yes, sir.
Send an email back there to the wingitcall@gmail.com. Put your username in there.
Okay.
And the name I'm looking. Don't say your name.
Yes, sir.
Not your real name, but is this your real first name I'm seeing comes up on my board here?
It probably is. It
starts with a K.
Like, yes, sir.
Starts with a K.
It looks like it might be female, but you know you're not talking to one.
Right. Okay. So put your first name in there. Put
yes, sir.
/ your board name.
Yes, sir.
And then put in there 666. And that way, because my web person is listening right now, and we'll get you fixed. Okay.
I will appreciate it, sir. And again, I do appreciate all the information y'all give because y'all come straight from the heart, and that's deeply appreciated.
Well, Fort Worth says thank you.
Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Uh-oh, am I still there? Yep, I'm good. Selden, New York. Come on down.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Hi. Well, first off, I want to say thank you. Art, you, and Aiko are superb. Now, I've been listening to what you've been saying today. I'm not an opium person. I'm a hopium person. I always will be about everything. But, you know, it's interesting that I find a lot of the other gurus, if you want to call them that, or people that, you know, go on the other sites, like detectives or recaps or anything like that. I mean, there's so much garbage, which Aiko has referred to so many times, and I totally agree with them, and it's really hard to figure out what's going on. That's why I love listening to you, and because you got your head together, and that's really great. But, you know, there are other people like, you know who I'm talking about. He's on 1 o'clock on Fridays, too. And he showed up at 1:15 on tweet with the call's delayed and may not even happen today. I mean, what kind of responsibility is that? You know, and then the other point being that, you know, you mentioned that nobody really knows what's going on, and nobody's really going to know until we walk in the door, into the door, and then come out, and then all of a sudden we'll know. Well, the one thing that I think is interesting is that, you know, obviously the gurus really don't know everything, admit it, or they can't say, or whatever that is. And you go up the level on the banking thing, and people, you know, get nasty with you from, you know, at all the different banks. And so, but I believe, you know, they say, well, nobody really knows what's going on. There's somebody that does. I don't know if it's one person, if it's an alien, or whatever it is. I don't know. It may be somebody from another galaxy. I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows except a handful of people, or maybe just 2 people. We don't know. But somebody knows when that button is going to be pushed, or when they're going to be in the right mood to push it. And
exactly.
We're watching.
So what is your question, please?
Well, I mean, I've been struggling along, and I'm in the trying to put some of my life back together again, and it's close to falling apart, but within days, but I'm still keeping the faith. And what I want to know now, I'll quickly mention that one of the gurus I mentioned that didn't show up today actually came down on somebody for asking him, in your heart of hearts, what do you think when it's going to be? What's your opinion? And he actually spent like 10 minutes berating this person for asking it that way. So to avoid the risk of that happening, I'm going to say, in your gut feeling, in your blue moon gut feeling, what do you feel? I mean, you could, obviously you don't know, and it's going to be a wait thing.
Okay, well, hold on. I'll answer your question for you. Nobody knows, but I'm hoping, for this weekend. Is it in my heart of hearts, my gut talking? Like you, I have hopes and dreams, and I'm hoping it's this weekend. If it doesn't go, well, we keep on living life. So There you go, sir. All right.
For some people, that's hard, though.
I know, and I feel your pain. I have not walked in your shoes for a mile, nor have you walked in mine for a mile. But I feel your pain. I feel your pain. There are people out there, yes, living out of their cars that only have a 1 or 2K, 25K notes. But I feel your pain. Alrighty, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hey, Jared, just to reinforce that a little bit, I think the conversation, the email exchange that I had with my Wells Fargo wealth manager this week, is a real good example of proof that this is real and proof that it is very close, because all of a sudden, his words to me were, they're treating us like mushrooms. Now this is a 11, 12-year-old employee with Wells Fargo. He's what they call a senior wealth manager. He handles accounts $3 to $5 million. I mean, he's not a slouch. He's not a newbie. And for he and I have been talking about this now for 3 years, and 2.5 years. And he's always tried to snake his way into the computer system and find out what's going on, and he never could. But now he knows there is a separate corporation set up by Wells Fargo to handle these exchanges. It's a firewall within that company. Wells Fargo is made up of many different companies, but the retail banking side, they are now, these senior execs in the retail banking side are aware of this other entity, the exchange entity. They are still being stonewalled about getting information, but it's things like that, and it's our contact at the Chase Exchange in New York. Banks don't go out and put together complex offices to pull one over on the public. This thing is real, and it is a step-by-step process, and it has been winding down dramatically in the past 6 months. It took 40 years to get here. This thing, that's how old this thing is. I mean, you got to stop thinking about it like, well, it started with Iraq. It did. It started 40 years ago. The rest of the world, as far as the rest of the world is concerned, Iraq just got caught up in it as part of, one of the things that had to be overcome. But you got to remember, this is all about oil. It's all about adjusting prices worldwide. It's all about trade deals for the next century, for the next 100 years, and how we're going to act as a planet, because now we are a single entity. Nobody wants to see that, but it's the truth. It's not the U.S. It's not that there's no more imperialism possible on the planet because, perfect example, a country like Zimbabwe, how do we think of Zimbabwe until 6 months ago? We thought of it as this backward nation full of gang leaders and tribal conflict. And, did they even have a road system? Well, guess what? Turns out they do. Turns out they're sitting on half the precious metals on the planet. And they're going to be a player. They're going to be a player, just like Saudi Arabia is a player. We've controlled the Saudis for a little while. Last century, we controlled the Saudis over oil, but we no longer control them. And they get it. They all got it now. The internet has changed everything. So I know it's tough. Believe me, I've got friends in this who are days or weeks away from losing their homes. I got one real close friend who their daughter's getting married and they can't afford a dime for the wedding. I mean, it's little things like that, and you can say, well, my case is harder than that, but everybody's got their own little story of why they need this to happen as soon as possible, and every week I see it winding down to ground zero, and every week I wouldn't call it a delay. It's more like things are taking their own time to get put into place so that we can get into the banks. And we are going to go to the banks, and we are going to be wealthy. So, to the last caller, just, hang in there. Just hang in there. And I'm not going to give you any New Age bullshit about, well, it's good to hit bottom because then you're free to create your new life. That's like, I want to slap people like that around a room, but it's coming. So just figure out a way to make what you got work for a little while longer. Hopefully, it's not too much longer.
Okay, I want to say this, and this is going to make some people pucker a little bit, but I like to poke the bear. I was actually listening to this call yesterday, and he's again calling for it to happen by this weekend, closer to Sunday. Bless his heart. He has good sound theories on some things, other things not so much, but would I call him a moron? Absolutely not. That would be too good for him. What the hey? But he does have some decent knowledge about certain things. We all have gifts in certain areas. Let's take another caller. Raleigh, North Carolina. Come on down.
Radio.
Redneck Radio. How you doing?
That was awesome. The Streak, Big Bad John. Oh, good music.
There's a lot of people on here that probably have never had that little bit of culture, so why not?
Yes. It's always
and
good
how about Eastbound and Down?
Yes. I was trying to figure out the name of that song. Oh, yes. That was great. Thank you, Jerry.
And when you're hot, you're hot.
You're hot, and you're not, you're not. Great.
All righty, sir. What can I do for you today?
Okay, couple of things. Number one, do we have a G2 summit coming up once again for the month of September? Or no?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Okay. And two, Monsignor Ico. Can I ask you a question? Where'd he go?
Sure. Go ahead. Just had it on mute.
Oh, okay. Question. I asked you several weeks ago, have you heard from your friend in the Redemption Center, Exchange Center? And he said no. Have you heard from that person lately?
Yes. Yeah, we have.
Okay.
And they are there are constantly, well, let's not say that, but if there isn't a week that goes by where they don't get this I guess they're on this email system where it says basically what it says is you must be, for the next 24-hour period, you must be within 1 hour travel of the exchange center. It's in the contract that they signed. Basically what that means is they're expecting to bring them in. And a couple of times, if you're talking about 3 weeks now, a couple of times over the past few weeks, they have been called in, and quote unquote fully manned. The center is, and it jives with other intel we're getting that everything looks good. It's going to go tonight, or it's going to happen. Sometime during the day. So there have been several alerts, at least with Chase, because this is like the person I get this information from. It's like one of your high school buddies got a job at Chase. So you can call them and ask them what the hell's really going on. That's the directness of this relationship, and this person has consistently only said exactly what is black and white. No exaggeration, no interpretation, no filter at all. Here's what's going on. I can see it on the screen. I'm not allowed to tell you what the rate is, but I can see the rates on the screens. That's the kind of intel we get from this person. So, again, I value that more than somebody says I just talked to the admiral. It's real stuff.
That sounds really good, very good. And I hope all the people out there listening take that advantage. Just relax. Do what you got to do. And please do not sell your currency. I don't care how desperate you are. And Jerry, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you, Art, for the information on Fifth Third Bank. And Iko, thank you. We'll talk to you again.
Thank you, sir. Redneck Radio. Like anything else, some people you like to listen to, some people you don't, some people you can't stand to listen to. And I'm quite sure I fit in one of those categories. It's like a love-hate relationship. Either you love me or you hate me. Or you despise me. I can't remember which one. Beverly Hills, California. Come on down.
Well, I can say I love you so far, but I'm a woman and I can always change my mind.
Not without formal notice in a memorandum with 2 weeks' notice.
Okay, that's fair. And I'm a very fair person. I kind of relate this whole thing to a huge party where you've invited 200 of your friends and you're trying to get them into a conga line, and some of them can't even stand up. But I was just wondering, is there any chance, do you think, that they're holding this off because of the election that might be coming up here in the United States and not knowing who in the world would be
now
the leader?
Remember, October 1st
the one
is in the SDR basket, and they will be asset backed. Yep.
Right.
So that brings a whole different perspective to everything, doesn't it?
I was thinking about that, and I was going to ask you, if it would happen before that.
Well, that's going to be a public announcement. That educated guess. That's when the public's going to know, and let's hope that we're considered private and we go before then. It's just, when do we go before that?
Exactly.
Yeah, and I'd like to try to correct some thinking here. I know we've all been trained into thinking somebody's holding this up, but I'd like everybody to sort of think about this as, it's not that anybody's holding it up. It's just that it's, your conga line analogy was great. I mean, I was on mute, but I was laughing out loud. That's more where it's at. It's like everybody wants to do the conga line. You know, the band is playing the music. You know, everybody's trying to line up, and there's a few folks that have had too much to drink, and they're trying to get in a line. They just haven't been able to get in a line yet. So it's not that they're purposely trying to hold it up so much as they just haven't gotten in line. And I think that's a great analogy. It also takes away the idea that yes, there are people who have been working against this. There are and there always will be people trying to take too much of the pie. But it seems to me like the whole planet now is trying to make this happen. Everybody agrees it has to happen, and what they're finding out is, you know, it's taken a little longer for this guy to get in line for whatever reason.
Right, he doesn't know his left foot from his right. That's
right.
Well, all I can say is, like, if we can all just have tolerance, which is the opposite of anger, then it just is a matter of waiting until it happens.
And I want to say this from the bottom of my heart. There are, I'd say over half of us are struggling just to keep our nose above that water line from drowning, because we're doing the best we can, and also at the same time waiting on this. And I feel for you. You know, is my head above water? Barely. But it's the only option I have.
Yeah, and that's all that I can do too. I mean, I'm in the same place. I think there's a lot of people on this call that are, you know, we're just bobbing up and down, gasping for air, but just stay calm, and the pool will eventually drain.
Exactly. All righty, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're always a breath of fresh wisdom.
Thank you. And you're always knowledgeable. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Uh-oh. I think I might have missed something here. Oh, we're good. All righty. Dayton, Ohio. Come on down. 937. Hello, Dayton, Ohio. You raised your hand. 937. I love your last name. You're especially if you're in the Army. Because what's right in the middle? Hello, Dayton, Ohio. Okay. Jacksonville, Florida. Jacksonville, Florida.
Hello, Jerry.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Redneck Radio.
Just want to say
Come on
one
down.
thing, brother.
Yes, sir.
Iko, I tell you what, the last two calls you hit the nail on the head. You have really and truly been on it, and you are right. We are close, very close. Everybody just have to do just the pastor. I'm surprised he hadn't come in and said this all is divine, but hey, we are real close. We're right around the corner from it now. All you got to do is just ride it. That's all I got to say. Thank you. God bless all of y'all.
Thank you, sir. Hold on here a second. I gotta send a text.
Yeah, and something while you're doing that, Jared, again, speaking to the last caller, and I mean to everybody, excuse me, there are all kinds of articles out there that are dancing around this thing. You know, you look at Bloomberg, you look at CNN, you read the Wall Street Journal, you look at the editorials coming out of the New York Times. So I guess you guys can peg me now as a liberal, but they're all dancing around the collapse. They're all dancing around the fact that the market's propped up artificially. You know, that you shouldn't have your money in the markets right now if you can help it. The bond market is essentially not a joke, but just again, something else you shouldn't be entering into right now because there are so many negative rates. It's not keeping up with inflation. It's not equaling with GDP, which, by the way, there was an article this morning just came out that, you know, we got another year of 2%, and we haven't had a year of 3% since 2005. And I remember when it was 3%, that one little point was the difference between my company being a massive success and a massive failure. It's, you know, the world economy is that delicate, and we're playing with all those forces right now. Excuse me, we're not. We're witnessing all those forces at play, trying to get fixed, so that we can enter this new era of cooperation and, you know, trade and really of, you know, mass communication on a world level. What we've enjoyed in the U.S. for the past 50 years is now being enjoyed by the entire planet. There's no such thing as a backward nation anymore. They're just not out there. There's no more third world. There's poverty, but there is no more third world. They're just as up on their tech as everybody else. The 5 wealthiest men in Africa are all own cell phone companies. You know, I mean, you think about things like that. That doesn't normally enter into our American image of Africa or Southeast Asia. The other one I love because it's close to home. It's you look at downtown Saigon today versus what it looked like in 68, 69. It's just, you know, it's a modern city. There are gleaming skyscrapers, and we're in the middle of that transition. We're all part of it, and it is happening. It definitely is happening. Okay, done.
Well, I think we're going to wrap it up anyway. There's nothing else really to be said. No, nobody knows the date. We've got a lot of people out here speculating. Speculation is good. And I want to say this. When we talk about something, whether it's far to the left or far to the right, it causes us to stop and think, and that way we're flexible in our thinking. We're not set in stone. It causes us to stop and think, well, if this happens, this could happen. I've got my little notebook when I walk in there, you know, like a little chart. If A happens, go to B. But if A doesn't happen, then go to C. Just an example. So talking about it's a good thing, but then we've reached a point to where we've talked about pretty much all the scenarios out there to the best of our ability, and we're trying to get a peek behind the curtain, even though we can't pull the curtain back to get a peek. It's like war. What's the enemy doing? We got to have intel. Now we have people on the fringes that might be able to see around the corner just a little bit, but they can't see the whole picture behind the curtain. So this allows us to, talk with somebody, think about things far to the left, far to the right, and expand about what could happen or couldn't happen. Somebody might go, man, that's some far out thinking. That's crazy thinking. Well, not really. You're talking about it. That's a big thing, and you're getting yourself prepared so that when you do go in, and we could be overthinking this. Sigmund Freud, a great psychiatrist, sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Maybe not. We just have to be prepared, and that's what we're doing. So that's all I have to say. Want to thank everybody. Pastor had to step out for a little bit, so Lord, thank you for watching over us and giving us an understanding heart. And in all that, I say amen. And let me see. What is the last thing that's said, Aiko?
Goodbye.
The conference is now completed. Goodbye. Welcome to the conference.